Looking forward to doing this. So, Ash, today we are talking about an undisputed classic of the neo-soul genre. Some people would argue of any genre. It definitely is a seminal piece of work. D'Angelo's Brown Sugar, his first album. For those who don't know it or don't remember, it came out in 1995. So this year is its 25th anniversary. 25. Yeah, in July. So it came out July 3rd, 1995. So that would have been like, I'd imagine, the US release date. Us sad folks in the UK, we probably would have got it nearer to Christmas because everything was late back in those days. So it came out in 95. The label was Virgin, which at the time was part of EMI, for those who are interested in that kind of thing. And what really appealed to me at the time was I was really into producers at the time. And when this came out, I was glad to see that he produced pretty much all the tracks on the album. He wrote all songs, and along with
played the instruments.
Played all the instruments. I was getting to that. Yeah, played all the instruments pretty much. In fact, looking at the credits, most of the tunes were like all instruments, D'Angelo, and then guitar, someone else, or one of the songs we get to later, Cruising, is like obviously there's the orchestra on there, but like for the most part, it's like everything else is him. And it was just like, who is this guy? He's amazing. So other producers in the album include Ali Shaheed Muhammad from A Tribe Called Quest, and of course Lucy Pearl, which is a quality album, and maybe we should get to that. And speaking of Lucy Pearl, the other producer on the album, Raphael Sadiq of Tony, Lucy Pearl. He also produced Joss Stone, which I didn't know that.
He's done so much. That guy is just an ageless don.
Right.
Game. Because he's been in it for time. And still producing landmark pieces of work. Amazing.
And the last producer is little known Bob Power, who is mainly an engineer, but he has production credits on obviously Brown Sugar, but also on a couple of Tribe Called Quest albums, and Erykah Badu as well on Baduism, and The Roots, and Michelle, and whose name I can't say. And actually say it for me, please, because I can't say this name.
I don't know how to say it.
Oh, man, we're terrible. We're terrible people, terrible human beings. Okay. And she had some bangers in the 90s as well, so I should really know how to say her name. But yeah, so Bob Power, he's like, he's really, around that time, he was an important part of, it seems like a lot of that work, that marrying, especially that marrying of hip-hop stuff and soul and neo soul stuff. So yeah, really interesting. So today, Ash, as we're like only got a certain amount of time, we're going to go through all the singles that were released, which were 4 singles from the album. And then what we'll do is we'll each choose our favorite album track.
Cool.
All
Sounds
good?
Yeah.
Right. So the first release, and a lot of people's favorite track on the album, was Brown Sugar. And that was released June 13th, 1995, written by, of course, D'Angelo and Shaheed Muhammad. And they also have the production credits on that as well. So Brown Sugar, Ash, is the one that started it. Tell me about it.
Madness. Have you heard the story about how it was like just a demo idea? Like, it just didn't really supposed to happen.
No, I missed that one. No.
He was literally mucking about on the piano, just playing around with some chords. And Al-Shaheed Muhammad heard it, and he thought, "Oh, what's that? Let's do that." And it just evolved from nothing into the lead single off of this incredible piece of work.
That's mental.
Like defining a movement. Like it is mad. Like those first organ chords when they come in again, is
absolutely.
iconic sound, and it's an organ. Like the sound that defines a lot of this genre is the Rhodes.
Yeah,
and it's not. Obviously Fender Rhodes is all over the album, but it's interesting that it's an organ that kind of defines it.
Yeah,
or starts that track and is the lead of that track with him. I guess going back to his gospel and his family, his dad was a pastor, so he's showing that church side.
I was just about to say that actually, that is like his especially on this album. I haven't listened to Voodoo in a long time, so I can't speak for Voodoo. But especially on this album, like his defining sound, right? His signature is that organ. It's all over the place, and it really just it makes it a D'Angelo song. And obviously, it's the phrases he plays as well. Sorry, I interrupted. Continue.
Yeah, no. Like it's just again, it's interesting that the signature sound of that lead single, which is the title track of the album as well, is the organ, and it is like a homage to his, and it might not be, but just a homage to his upbringing, where he came from, and what he was about. It could have been the piano, it could have been the guitar, and it's none of that. It's this organ sound, and you're introduced to that classic quality of him, of him singing in his falsetto and just taking it up, and you're just, what is he saying? What is he actually saying? I'm not too sure what he's saying, but it works, and you warm to the sound, and you warm to his voice, and you take it in and you enjoy it, and then you find out what the song's really about. And
exactly,
it takes you somewhere else. But again, imagine that in 1995, someone who is releasing an album that is against the curve. You're talking about a time when, like, funnily enough, Babyface and Teddy Riley are the pioneering sounds of black music, and they are looking at bringing a soul sound out that is far away from everything else, far away from everything that's the face, and you're leading your song with a song about smoking weed, which is just disguised as a song about brown women and loving brown women. He's just hit up so many different markets and so many different people in one fell swoop.
Oh, mate.
It's genius. Genius.
For years, I didn't know that it was about smoking weed. And when I found out, I can't remember when I found out or who told me. Someone obviously told me because I can't. I'm stupid. I can't work things out like that. But when they told me that, I was just like, I had to go back and listen to the track. And I was like, and then it opens up a whole new world. We just like, when you put it into that context, you're just like, okay, I see what we're talking about here. So yeah.
How did he get away with that? Like, how did you get away? This is a major label release.
I'm thinking everyone's as dumb as me, actually, and they just didn't get it. They just didn't get it. Because it really did just go under the radar. And it's, oh man, I love this track. And revisiting the album, I didn't realize at the time how jazz inspired everything is. Because I think maybe I analyze music better now. Back then, everything was just soul. It's just soul, and that's it. It's like I didn't know whether it could be like jazzy or bluesy. To me, it was just like everything was just one soul. But listen back now, it's just like it's so his stuff is so jazzy, and I'm not like the biggest jazz fan, but the way he brings it across is just that it's so compelling and so listenable. That's the thing about it. This whole album is just like, it's just easy listening, but not in a throwaway way. You know what I mean? Not easy listening like, oh, I put it in and I can just do the dishes or something like that. It's easy listening in terms of like, it's easy on the ear. It's like good quality music, but you don't have to fight to listen to it. You don't have to work out anything. It's not up its own arse, for want of a better phrase. You know what I mean? And Brown Sugar encapsulates that for me. It's a simple, catchy tune with great musicianship in it. I think that's what appealed to me. at the time. Listening to it again, I'm used to at that time that climate 95 R&B was consisted of usually like a four man group or 4-girl group, and they had like a main producer, be it Teddy Riley, Babyface, or Devontae Swing, whoever. And that was late. It was all one guy using like MIDI sounds. Basically, there might have been like a live guitar in a couple of tunes, but mostly it was all sort of like program music. And then this comes along in 95, and you're just like, oh, that's a real guitar, or is that a double bass I hear, or do you get what I mean? Like, it's like, whoa, it's like it starts making you listen to it differently. It's like, and obviously in those days, what's that, 95, I was 18, I was still sort of like playing guitar, and I was still into that whole sort of like that live band phase of my life. And it was just nice to know that you could actually hear that on Choice FM, you know, because that's what I was listening to at the time. And it was like, well, I'm doing all this live music at like college or with my friends or whatever, but like what I hear on the radio is all sort of like program beats and stuff like that. And now I hear all this live instrumentation. It was like mind blown, you know?
Mm-hmm. No, it's amazing.
Yeah, definitely was. Definitely was. I couldn't find the chart position, the UK chart position, but I found the US one, and I was shocked that. No, I'm not actually shocked. Actually, it only got to like number 5 in the US R&B charts, right? And for as good as it is, I would have assumed it was higher. However, considering the climate that I was just speaking about, that is actually a decent chart position, considering like people have to digest, people who are listening to R&B, they have to digest this kind of new thing. Yeah. You only hear that stuff prior to D'Angelo coming out. You only hear music like that maybe from a Stevie Wonder back in the day, or you know, like Marvin Gaye or something like that. So I guess it was like coming out of left field. So I guess that's a decent showing, like number 5, you know?
Yeah, I mean, again, you said it when you said the dates, which I didn't know, like, but there's not a big gap between the first single coming out and the album coming out.
No.
So it's not like people have had a lot of time to, one, kind of digest his sound and get to know him and get to support him. But also, there's not been any time to build up a hype around the genre that is led by an artist.
Exactly.
So this is completely brand new. It's not like a couple years down the line when Erykah Badu drops Baduism and this is the next album of that genre that you have to check out. So people just flock to it without listening to it, without knowing what it was. Because again, this is a different time where you can't just pick up your phone and listen to whatever you want to listen to. If you are getting an album, you are investing 10 to 15 pounds of your money, and being in the UK, you'd have to buy an import version, which meant it was more like 15 pounds for the whole album. Are you going to spend that on something that you don't know? Like, you know, you talk about choice, and, you know, it's so important back then to listen to the radio to find out where things were. The record shop culture was there. It was slightly different than what it had been in terms of it leading the way in terms of people finding out music, but it was the DJs. And again, it's not club music. It's a different type of night where you're going to go out and you're going to hear something like that, which hadn't been really created, I don't think, not to my knowledge anyway. Again, this album births a whole scene. So for it to even kind of get that recognition of a top 5 status is pretty good. But I don't know the definite facts, but I'm sure one of the later singles is the one that really catapulted the album into everyone's mindsets and knowledge and took him further.
You are right.
This one.
You are absolutely right.
And to be fair as well, if you really compare the song to other songs, it's not something that you would say is a hit single. It's a grower. It's an introductory song. It sits perfectly in its place in the album to introduce you to this artist and this album and this sound. So it's not an ascension. It's not a bam. It's a hit.
Yeah.
This is, like you said, this is easy. It's something easy for you to digest, get to know, and see if you enjoy it. See if you can rock with it.
Yeah, exactly. It's a nice introduction. It's like, oh, we don't want to hurt them too much. Like, so let's take it easy. Cool.